Welcome to Media Men Online. It's a podcast about two media men, and it's online.
Mostly online. He's
Do you have
Jeremy.
an offline show that I don't know about?
I do. I have 14 of them. But, you know, we're not going to get into those. Those are for Media Men After Dark.
I don't think breaking into a theater wearing a mask after it's closed counts.
Right. Only a mask.
Like a half mask.
He's Jeremy. I'm Dan. And we don't have any news for you today. Surprise, surprise. Coming up soon, I'd like to talk about a couple different games I've been playing. The most recent Pokemon DLC came out. My wife and I were playing Resident Evil Revelations. She's hilarious when playing a zombie video game. I'm going to get some more time with both of those. And aside from that, we have spoilers ahead for Halloween H2O, or H20, whichever you prefer, from 1998. And this movie, we were originally going to do the first Halloween, but I feel like it's too good of a movie to pick apart, which sounds weird. I'm kind of glad we switched to it, but I'm also sad that I had to watch it again. And it was only an 86-minute movie, believe it or not. It seemed a lot longer. Nothing really happened, did it? Okay. Synopsis from IMDb. Laurie Strode, now the dean of a Northern California private school. This school is like a gated community. It's ridiculous. With an assumed name, must battle the shape one last time as the life of her own son hangs in the balance. What is the shape? Is that what they call it? This is the IMDb. I've never heard Michael Myers called the shape before this. Really weird.
The artist formerly known as Michael Myers.
So Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, and Josh Hartnett. I think this is the first movie I've ever seen him in. He's been in a couple that we've done here, and Sin City being the most famous, of course. The opening scene is kind of just like a way to get a couple of cheap kills in, you know?
Yeah.
And so a nurse comes home from work and her house has been broken into, and she goes next door to the family, which I guess is just two high school children.
This movie is back when in your early 20s, you could own a 5-bedroom house in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Different economy, different time.
Yeah. While they're waiting for the police, who take forever, by the way. So if you want to do any murders or anything, go to this little town in Illinois and just do whatever you want, because the police will be 40 to 70 minutes away.
I don't think I've ever lived anywhere where the cops consistently got there within like a half hour. I mean, they don't want to get shot, so they wait.
One of the kids investigates, and with his cracked voice, it's Justin, whatever the hell his name is, he's the dude from Sin City 2 that was the gambler guy. Mm-hmm. I can't remember his name, Justin Bradshaw or whatever. Justin Gordon-Levitt. He's going in and he's got a hockey stick. It's like, Jimmy here's been suspended 5 times, so don't mess with him. If there's any adults in that room, they will not give a shit and they'll snap your little neck. But I did want to mention one thing. While he's patrolling the woman's house while they're waiting, hours for the cops, because it was daylight when she got home. It was dark out by the time all this went down. The little savage took a bite out of a cookie and put it back on the plate of cookies. I was very disturbed by this.
That's when I knew he was going to die.
Yeah, he deserved it. I mean, tell me you weren't rooting for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, just eat the cookie, or put the rest of it in your pocket, or throw it away. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you little bastard. That's why he was suspended. He keeps biting stuff and putting it back.
He's like going to the cafeteria, like buffet, just like taking a bite of macaroni and cheese and putting the spoon back in there.
Yeah, and they're like, Jimmy, we told you about this. He goes and checks the house. There's nobody in there, to little Jimmy, the investigator's knowledge. He goes back and sends he does steal beer, which I was way more okay with him stealing the beer than this cookie situation.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is rude. It's rude to steal beer. Yeah. What he did was a biohazard.
Yeah, imagine that in 2020. He just spread his damn freaking virus everywhere. He's patient zero of COVID. That's how all this started. The nurse goes in and she sees that everything's scattered all over her office and the file. Why did Michael Myers take the items out of the file instead of just taking the folder with him? You know, because she goes and sees the Laurie Strode inside of the file was taken. Just take the damn folder, bro. Then they won't have any way to like know where you're going or anything, and you're gonna have an organized while you're traveling in your weird car. I didn't know Michael Myers could drive. When did he learn this? I don't think he's ever driven until this movie. I guess if you're going to Illinois to California, you can't really get on a plane with that mask, can you?
I don't know. I mean, pre 9/11, maybe. If you do it on Halloween, I think it'll work out.
The nurse runs out of the house to next door, and both kids are dead. Little Jimmy has an ice skate. I guess his own ice skate shoved through his face, which was pretty grotesque. And then the other dude,
ice skates like sharp? Like, could you like cut a tomato with them?
I think so. And I remember seeing a hockey video where a dude, he got blasted and obviously his feet went in the air and it caught another dude in the neck and they had to like emergency rush him to the hospital because he was like spurting everywhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can do that. But I guess Michael Myers is insanely strong. We see him do later in the movie. He does like a one-arm reverse pull-up. It's not him dropping down because of how slow he does it. Mm-hmm. The dude's probably 220 pounds because he's like 6'6". And
I'm pretty sure when he stabs the boyfriend of the mother, mm-hmm. I think he like lifts him off the ground with like one hand.
Yeah. Yep, he does. That's pretty gruesome. How does he kill the other guy? He just stabs him, right? The other kid?
Yeah, I think there's like a knife in his back or something.
Yeah. And she's trying to get the attention of the cops who are completely oblivious at this point. And
yeah, I was wondering, like, how far away are those cops? Like
20 feet.
Like a video game where you can't like they're not within yelling range.
Yeah, you can't aggro yet, so she's screwed. She gets murdered.
I feel like if she didn't run like a hobbled geriatric person, she could have gotten away. Like, I'm pretty sure that like my grandmother could have gotten away. She didn't actually move. She looked like she was running the wrong way on one of those airport fast walkways. But then like she elbows him and almost puts him out. Like he's on the ground from this old lady elbowing him.
Yeah.
I think if she had just like used the golf club while he was down, she would have been fine.
Yeah, he seems to...
But instead she leisurely, breaks the glass on the window and carefully removes the glass while this guy behind her like stands up, drinks a Capri Sun, stretches, and then cuts her throat.
Yeah, tell me you wouldn't like do a military dive through the window, like a SWAT team style dive. Who cares what happens? You could break your arm when you hit the ground. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna like Superman that thing.
Yeah, just dive through the window. All bets are off, and there are 2 cops out there who can get murdered instead of you.
Yeah, hopefully the aggro range is like just outside the window.
Oh, it might have changed once they went in the door. It depends on like how sophisticated the game is.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They might be in like a different instance. So like they haven't loaded in. Like you're outside the draw distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like PlayStation 2 draw distance going on there.
Exactly, because if it's PlayStation 2 Metal Gear Solid, then she's screwed. But if it's Metal Gear 5 from PS4, she's got a shot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's dead. Everyone's dead. It was just this in terms of storyline. Michael Myers is trying to find his sister, who's killed him 6 times to this point, I believe. And he goes to get her file to see where she is. And for some reason, a nurse has files at her home. She's the assistant from the main doctor, who was like Michael Myers' psychiatrist when he was a kid. She just got files of patients laying around her home for whatever reason. And
I mean, okay, I understand why she would have files on Michael Myers, but why does she have the forwarding address of the people that are in hiding?
Does she need it for some reason?
Like, if you change your name and go on the lam, you don't fill out the mail forwarding thing at the post office.
Yeah, and leave it at the desk of the guy who picked your new location.
I mean, yes, they send you coupons when you move, but it's not worth it.
How are they going to get their Mint Milano cookies from Amazon Prime?
But I mean, yes, it might kill us, but we can save $10 at Bed Bath and Beyond
Also,
on a purchase of $100 or more.
in terms of music, the tuba is like the leader of this orchestra. Every single song in this has mad tuba action. So
Yeah,
just want to
my
point that out.
one of my early points is if you aren't scared of dimly lit rooms and repetitive music, this is going to be a very boring movie. I remember there was like a 5-second shot of like scary music just looking at a clock in like a newspaper or some shit like that. Like when the kid's
Yep.
walking through the old lady's house, like, oh no, a clock.
Yeah.
Does it mean it's time for him to die?
Oh, there's
Is the
also
newspaper red all over?
after
I
they
had
do
time
this.
to write those one-liners while I was waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, because after they do this intro, they get right into like this, like the opening credits while they're kind of giving you a bit of a history. You've never seen a Halloween movie. Was this okay for you, or did you need more information?
Information on what?
Just on the story or anything? Is this an okay movie if you wanted to watch one Halloween movie? I'm not suggesting that this is the one to watch, but if you happen to watch this one, were you able to follow everything all right? Did everything make sense in terms of the grand story and everything?
I mean, they don't explain why everyone's retarded, but other than that, I think all the plot points are covered. Like they explain that he escaped a long time ago and tried to kill them, and then they went in hiding, and then 17 years later he found them. But they don't explain why no one picked up on that 17-year pattern. I really feel like that would have been super obvious. I'm
Right.
pretty sure the kid's father is the only one that knew how old he was.
Yeah, so if you want to explain that really quick.
So about maybe 2/3 of the way through the movie, the mother is explaining to the boyfriend who is obviously going to die because he doesn't have. He's just watch the movie. He might as well be dating Bruce Willis's wife right now. He is just like as soon as he comes on the screen, I'm like, oh, that guy is so fucking dead. Oh my god.
I was hoping you would at least get some play
Dating the
first.
female lead in a horror movie. This
Yeah.
guy is trying to die.
That's why as soon as she explained to him that she was the female lead in a horror movie, he had this face like, "Oh shit.
Oh
I'm
man, I am so
screwed."
screwed. That's why he was like, take off your clothes. He's trying to get laid before he goes. He's like, I just gotta at least make an exit here. Maybe I can die during the sex. That's
Right.
just tradition. But it wasn't a teenage movie, so we didn't have any of that.
Exactly.
Why is it horror movies only have sex if it's teenagers? Well, if you're old enough to consent legally, you just can't do it in a movie. Anyway, she realizes that all of his attacks, all both of them. Her older sister, when the older sister was 17, he tried to kill her when she was 17, and then when her son turned 17, she wasn't concerned about this pattern at all.
Right.
It could have been anything that made him do it. Like this guy. They explained in the movie he sat in a mental institution just sitting there fucking counting the 365 17 times doing nothing. Then when her birthday comes up, he escapes, tries to kill her, and she at no point says, should I sit down with a piece of paper and try to figure out the timing? No, none of that.
Yeah.
It must have been a weird coincidence. Like if I were her, we would be going into like a panic room every single birthday, just in case he lost count.
Right.
Like 364 days a year, you are. Also, why is everyone in their family born on Halloween? That's some really
Right.
well-timed fucking.
Yeah, right. You think they try for that?
I don't know, but when he has a kid, like I would have a 2-month period where we're using condoms just so there's no kid born on Halloween.
It's like I'm banging on Halloween so that there's no chance.
Yeah, and so the reason that she only realizes it when she looks across the room while talking to the Walking Dead man, she sees the birthday card that the estranged father leaves because he can see patterns. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going down with this ship." He's not a deadbeat dad. He just knows what train tracks look like. He doesn't lay on them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like he basically he was around until she explained the situation. He's like, wait, what? Wait, tell me this again. Yeah. Baby, I'm gonna go out for some cigarettes and milk. As a the only thing he did wrong was the birthday card didn't have black Sharpie run written on it.
Yeah.
That's all he needed to do to be father of the year.
He's like, do you remember how you and your sister was murdered when she was 17 and you were almost murdered? Here's your reminder that your son's 17 and that the demon is coming.
Yeah, I feel like we can really handle Mike Myers if we get a Google Calendar update going on.
Yeah.
It's like literally just go down an empty road that no one goes down and put a landmine on it. He's going to walk right through there at walking pace. I have a note here. I need to ask you. You've seen all the Halloween movies. Does every single light bulb in every single movie malfunction when Mike Myers is around?
For the most part, yeah. They're pretty
there is not
malfunctioning.
a single light in this entire $95,000 a year, fenced, high fenced student reserve that works.
Yeah.
This guy can mess up headlights, street lights. If you had a cell phone with like a little LED telling you when it's charging, it would probably dim when he walks by.
Good thing they didn't have cell phones at this point. But I just what keeps going through my head when you say the dimly lit light is the chick. I mean, a little later on that is hanging from a light bulb. And that's dimly lit too. And flickering as well. So yeah.
I don't remember that hanging from a light bulb.
The chick with the leg, we'll get into that. Okay,
we're getting into it now. How much does that fucking elevator weigh? It's like a little wooden box. And then there's a counterweight that holds it up. That's how elevators work.
Yeah.
And then the engine just has to move what's inside the box and overcome friction in the system. So when he cuts the rope, how much does that elevator weigh?
It seemed like it was steel when it hit her leg.
No, it seemed like it was gold.
Yeah.
Or like, depleted uranium. That thing fell 2.5. Her leg was inside the box. So the box is like, 2 or 3 feet tall.
Yep.
So it could have only fallen about 3 feet.
Max, yeah.
And max. And the way acceleration works is in a vacuum, you fall at 32 feet per second. Well, there's air in the elevator shaft. There's a friction of the pulley, and it still gets enough, speed to break her leg on impact.
Not only break her leg, but like tear through her calf. Her leg is like barely hanging on when she's crawling. It's disgustingly just I don't even know if her bone was still attached to the rest of her body.
No, that was a complete break. I mean,
yeah.
She drew like a lightning bolt shape with her leg.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting. But the only explanation I could have is if he yanked on that, because he's supposed to be like ridiculous strength. So if he yanked on the rope after he cut it, would be the only thing that makes sense.
No, that dumbwaiter was the engine of that. Engines for a dumbwaiter are usually pretty small because it's just enough to move like some dirty plates or like a roast or something.
Yeah.
That one, however, that's actually an old crane engine.
Yeah.
And
but so, how heavy would that thing have to be to do that to her leg? Like a ton?
I mean, I've seen like videos of like people dropping, of like people were back squatting, like dropping several hundred pounds and the weight hitting someone without breaking like that, without their leg breaking like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the shin's a pretty strong bone.
Yep.
Because when you run, like your entire weight is bouncing on those, on your shin bone. So I mean, we're talking about a pretty strong bone here. It's not like the collarbone. Those are pretty easy to break.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe it was like pre-fractured from like, I don't know, maybe she bumped it the day before, like a hairline fracture already.
Yeah, but what about the tearing through her skin and her calf muscle? Like, you could see Her entire snapped leg.
Maybe she bruises really easily.
Yeah. Maybe she's got paper skin.
Yeah, that's it. She's actually a human bird hybrid. Hollow bones and shit.
So, I wanted to go back really quick to the credits, and I don't know if you noticed.
Wait a minute. What if everyone in the movie is a human bird hybrid? That explains how he can pick someone up with one hand. He's the only human in a world of birds.
Right. So to wrap that little dumbwaiter section up, my other note is so much for the orgy, because the one kid does mention them having an orgy. So, because there are 4 kids there, and they wanted to all swap partners, I guess. Does that mean that the guys are getting together for a little bit and the girls too, or is it just kind of like a couple swap situation? This is all very important information we need to know. So
I don't know. I was kind of like a little. I mean, maybe it's just me being old, but I don't want to hear or see like 14, 17-year-olds like getting it on. I just no. You're children now. Just die for the movie.
Get murdered gruesomely for my entertainment or lack thereof.
17-year-old Jeremy's like, yeah, here we go. But now that I'm older than 17.
Yeah. I do appreciate that they're adults, though, playing teenagers. It makes it less weird, but it's still weird. So,
I don't know. To me, like the guy who was like, we're going to have an orgy. Gerber, gerber. That's my impression of him. He seemed like a teenager in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
To me, he was like a 16-year-old dating a 25-year-old.
That makes sense. And I had this thought of like, you don't want to date the chick that got her legs snapped off. You don't want to date her because she seems like, I mean, maybe you'd want to date her, but you don't want to break up with her because she seems like she would be a nightmare. So, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but the people out there know what I'm talking about.
I mean, she's pretty hot. I'm taking the risk.
Yeah, absolutely she is. However, breaking up with her would be a very different story. I mean, agree.
Listen, you just got to do it at the end of your lease.
Yeah. What you have to do is you got to try and pawn her off on somebody. You know?
What? Just like leave her at the orgy?
Like, hey, this is my friend Jeff. Jeff is better than me in every way possible.
We're going to go to a masked orgy, and then Jeff and I will switch a mask. 12 hours later?
12 hours later, you get Jeff's girl. So you're all set. So, real quick, the opening credits. Did you notice that one of the co-exec producers was Harvey Weinstein? That didn't age well, right?
I mean, it's probably a lot of movies, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is the first one I've noticed, so I don't know. I just thought it was pretty funny. How do you think those those girls got their parts in the movie?
Through being the most qualified actresses.
So the whole setup for this movie is obviously serial killer coming after his sister and the son now. And they live in this like gated community school place that's like probably $1 million a year to pay for. So I don't know how she has all that money just being maybe the fact the staff's kids go for free. I would guess that would be the only way that a teacher could afford that place.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. And Michael Myers is on his way to California driving different cars. And there's one point he's driving one car and he's at a rest stop. They never say if the car broke down or he's just like tactically switching cars. So they're not looking for one. And he goes into like a rest stop. It's not even just a rest stop, it's just a bathroom. And he steals the keys from this mother with her kid. And this car is called a 1956 International Harvester Travelall, because I've never seen this thing before. It's like a station wagon. It seems like it would be considered the first SUV. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like a station wagon mixed with a truck. And it's like the ugliest damn thing. But it was pretty ugly truck thing. But Mike Myers is very intelligent, obviously, and he's just, he doesn't want the cops on his trail for that stolen nurse's car, I guess.
I gotta say though, like in the entire movie, all 86 hours of it, I mean minutes, the the scariest and probably most interesting scene in the whole thing is like the little girl and the mom in the bathroom. That part was like actually creepy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm uncomfortable in public restrooms, especially ones that are that gross. But I don't know, the idea of being murdered in in a shithole like that, it's pretty scary. And he just like kind of walks up, so you think, oh, it's just the person coming to the bathroom, and then your purse is gone.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do? It's like your little girl's over there. But if you go out there, you're just gonna get murdered by the purse snatcher, maybe.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. And she peeks out and she sees his face, his ghost face. So
And she's like, yeah, hope he doesn't murder my kids. I ain't going out there. We're rolling the dice on this one.
absolutely. So
I don't think he did anything like that. He didn't even like kick open the door or like yell boo at or anything. He just ignored them completely.
yeah, he just stole it and left. Stole the he didn't even steal the purse, he just grabbed the purse so he could steal the keys and then he left.
So what are the rules on who he murders? Because like everyone who's in the vicinity of his target seems to die, but I'm not really clear on like who counts as in the vicinity.
Yeah.
I mean, because he could have murdered the woman and her daughter pretty easily, and like they were in the way, like they were there while he was on his way to doing some murder.
Right.
But like he also but he didn't murder them. But then he did. I could see murdering like the hockey kid because he was like walking around the house because of the cookie thing. He probably murdered him because of the cookie thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like the guy who didn't go in the house, like why did he murder him?
I think so. I think it's like the connections rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the nurse was connected to the doctor, who was connected to Lori, the sister. So he killed the nurse, and the next door neighbor is connected to her because he's next door. So he killed her, and then the friend. But these two random people out in the middle of nowhere, he just left them alone because there's no connection to anyone.
He didn't even try to kill the security guard though.
That's
And the
true.
security guard has like a personal relationship with the kid.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
not like that. I'm not like accusing the security guard of like being Catholic or anything.
Yeah, I don't think he was Catholic. But yeah, I think that seems to be the case, but I don't know. There's no consistency to it. So we'll just stick with that information.
I was really like watching the movie like, this is an old horror movie and there's actually one black guy in it.
Yeah. Yeah,
like, is it that old, or is it an age where he's definitely gonna live?
Yeah, he's so let's get into LL's character. So this is LL Cool J in 1998, and he's like a security guard for this gated community, and he's also like trying to be a smut novel writer. So he's like talking to his girlfriend on the phone, or fiance or whatever, and he's like reading the
wife.
stuff to her, and she's like, I ain't even trying to hear this shit. She's all being just such a bitch to him about it.
The word you're looking for is sassy.
Yeah, she's very sassy and annoying.
It's black woman cliche number 7.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she's something else during this. He's like trying to follow his passion. She's like, no, you got to give up. Like, oh,
which makes no sense. Like, he's a security guard. He's writing. He spends the whole workday on the phone with his wife. Like, the writing is not interfering with his career. Is he supposed to be working a job while he's security guard. Does she want him to
Right.
like cut the grass while he's watching the plays? I don't know what she's looking for here. He's got a full-time job that he's risking to let a 17-year-old go get lunch,
Right.
which is really dumb. Like, just go to the cafeteria, you little shit.
Yeah,
No,
essentially
no, that 17-year-old's being a dick. Just climb the fence. You're like 6 feet tall. And there's one security guard who has to leave to walk the perimeter. You could leave a step ladder by a tree.
Absolutely. But yeah, he essentially he spends the majority of the movie doing that, and I don't know. I think he's kind of like he's all right. He's not a great character, but he's kind of like he's a bit of comic relief. But I don't know. He's all right. He didn't bother me as much as the other couple of the other characters did. So,
do you think this is a prequel to like an offshoot for the X-Men, because he heals up like Wolverine after just getting loaded with bullets?
Yeah. So for some reason they think that the security guard is Michael Myers. And
they think the short, shaved head, stocky black guy is a tall, Chucky the doll hair looking motherfucker with a mask on.
yeah, essentially.
If you couldn't confuse them in a funhouse mirror with a strobe light going on.
Right. And he not only does he take a shot at him, but he unloads the entire freaking 6-shooter into him, which the 6-shooter had like 12 bullets.
He hits him multiple times. Like, after the third shot, he's like, just like, oh, I'm just going to keep shooting this guy so he can't sue me.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I just thought it was really weird that he I mean, when they play it so he's kind of in the shadows, but he like puts his hands up and just takes, we don't know how many bullets he got shot with, but when they go over to him, there's a lot of blood on the floor. And their explanation at the end of the movie is, "Oh, the bullet just grazed me. I'm all right." It's like, damn, what did you land in a pile of someone else's blood? Jesus.
Why were you unconscious for several minutes?
Unbelievable.
I was, you know how you get a flesh wound and go into a coma?
Yeah, a short coma. Very short.
A 15-minute coma.
I don't know.
If only they had some smelling salts.
So, at one point, after chick gets her leg chopped off, her boyfriend gets killed. One thing about her, what are you even gonna do? Like, he mashes your leg into frickin' linguine, and then you're just like slowly crawling away with your leg hanging on by just a little piece of skin. And
I think she could have crawled faster. She had 3 good limbs and a lot of adrenaline. Like, she should have been crawling faster.
Yeah, I'd try and dive out the window, because what are you gonna do? Smash your leg? It's just, I don't know, it's just really weird. So the other two, the remaining two, Jamie Lee Curtis's son and his girlfriend, who I have under here as Clarissa Explains It All, who she reminded me of. Do you remember that show from back in the day?
Nope.
Oh. Well, she smashes. They're trying to get away, and they're kind of double teaming Mike Myers, and he's got Josh Hartnett hemmed up, and she smashes him with a rock. So that was pretty entertaining. She but
they only do it one time. Like, they have a rock, they have a person who's on the ground. Just hit him again. You can stop when when his head becomes squishy.
Right. Yeah, and just keep mashing him.
I'm pretty sure that Mike Myers is immune to damage from guys because like Kevin or whatever his name is punches him 3 times, like full on waist to chin, just doom.
Yeah, and he's
And
got
like he's
some
he just
freaking
like his
torque
head
on
just
that
moves a
too.
little bit like like a
Yeah,
bobblehead, but like that old lady elbowed him and he just fell to the ground.
yeah. He had just woken up from his demon nap, so he was weak at that point. He had to like absorb the souls of those other people. That's why he was weak. No, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is.
My next point is yes, the boyfriend died.
Yeah. So I have one part here where we just talked about LL getting shot. LL gets ice cubed. They do have this cool face-to-face moment. So Mike Myers is still chasing the kids, and they get behind this gate. They're waiting. They're trying to like bang on the door for the mom to come open it. And Mike Myers has the keys, trying all the keys to unlock the gate. And when they shut the door, when she lets him in and shuts the door, they have like this face-to-face behind the glass, which I thought was a pretty cool moment.
Why did he try
And
to unlock that door?
I don't know. It's a good question because they had the key to it. So because
But let's see, what was
yeah,
I gonna? Oh, I noticed like very slow swiping motions, like you're trying to play like slower than playing Fruit Ninja. Like slow swiping noises, like you're trying to answer a phone call on a cell phone, and it's just
yeah,
like a.
yeah. And what are you gonna
And I'm
do if you
like,
actually hit? Scrape them?
and
Like
I'm
if
like,
any of those hit.
like a
Um,
third of the blade swipe is just a. The rest of it's silent.
yeah, and yeah, he kills the boyfriend because at one point Jamie Lee Curtis explains everything to him, and he's like, "Oh shit! Well, obviously I died. He could have at least gotten laid first. That would have been acceptable to end off." But when he kills the boyfriend, when Mike Myers kills him, he stabs him through with a kitchen knife and lifts him into the freaking air just
Mm-hmm.
by the kitchen knife, which is
Yep.
ridiculous.
Yeah, kitchen knives aren't that well made.
Yeah. So Jamie Lee Curtis drives the two kids like out of town, out of this giant mega city that's just a school. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go and fuck this dude up. She's got an axe and like breaks the gate. It was an awesome scene. And yeah, she's a total badass during this.
Yeah, my last 2 points are when like the body bag is like slowly moving and she's still
Yeah.
driving. I'm like, just stop the van and hit him with the axe. He's
Real quick
literally in a
before
bag.
yeah, before we get into that bit, I already mentioned the single arm casual pull up, but the table scene where she's hiding under the table and he's like flipping them over just seems super epic, you
Hmm.
know? And then yeah, so she freaking plays him like a fiddle and stabs the shit out of him. And they take him off to in the morgue, I guess the coroner's van, and then he starts to wake up. She steals the coroner's van, holds them at gunpoint, and load him in, that kind of shit. And they start driving, and she knows he's gonna wake up, and he wakes up. She slams on the brakes, and he flies through the window, which is the worst windshield I've ever seen because they're supposed to have like that adhesive like brake glass that a window can shatter without any pieces flying in your face, even in 1998. But
Hmm.
he flies through it, and it's like the worst, like sugar glass window. Flies through it so easily, and it shatters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it matches my last point. Van
Yeah.
crash special effects, $8.
And they all tumble down the hill, right? She runs him over. They go down the hill. She flies out of the car. Well, he's already out of the car. He flies down. The big ass coroner's van, he hits a tree. It like smashes him in the back and pins him against the tree.
Yep.
Tell me that wouldn't like we had the effects
Yeah,
of
he would have been squeezed like a tube of toothpaste.
yeah, that would have been an awesome ending.
Just like his spine comes out of his mouth. And then that gets up and starts running around.
Yep. And I guess strength runs in the family because she single swipe chops his head off while they're standing there. Like
I'm
just
telling you, bird people.
one through. Yeah. So do you want to know why, in terms of the story, there's another Halloween after this?
Because um the they have an uncle.
So the way they try and explain this is that Mike Myers crushed the throat of one of the people in the like one of the coroners and swapped places with him, and that's what he was trying to. You see at the end where he's like pulling at his mask, trying to pull it off, I guess.
He he crushes the throat of the
Yeah,
guy,
and puts him in the body bag in his clothes.
and no one recognizes Michael Myers with no mask on.
I guess not. So
They don't
that's
notice
what
the
they.
Chucky hair.
I
Wait,
think that hair is part of the
did he fix
mask.
the guy? Did he dye the guy's hair to match his?
No, I think the hair is part of the mask. I'm pretty sure. At least when you buy it at the store, like when you like a Halloween store. So I'm pretty sure it's all part one thing. So that's the reason they give in the next one. And the next one is real bad. So coming soon to a podcast near you.
The entire Halloween movie could have been avoided if they had just had the family identify the body.
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
she doesn't know
it's
what her brother looks like once the mask is taken off. Like, who's that
I,
guy? Ah, it must have been Mike. I
I
didn't
mean
even know he
she's
was Jewish.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what they give in the beginning of the next movie. So either they were planning it all along or they just kind of, you know, revisionist history kind of thing. Whatever, however you want to put it. They just kind of, what do you call it? Uh, shoehorned it, if you will. So I don't know, but
So wait, but doesn't he attack her in the van?
yeah, he does.
He
Why?
must have hypnotized the guy with like a coin on a string to make him
Uh,
attack his sister.
He had one of those spinny things that made it look like one of those, like to make him dizzy or whatever. I don't know why maybe he's trying to get her to stop because he's like dying or something because his neck's all chopped or crushed or
So,
whatever.
so the
I don't know.
coroner. So wait. So while everyone's there,
Hmm.
he crushes the guy's windpipe. He changes clothes with him, puts him in a body bag alone, then gets the other coroner to put the bag in the van.
Or he helps him. I don't know because well,
Well,
if he helped the other
no,
guy, he would be like,
because
"Who's
she
this
was
guy?"
watching she was watching the body be loaded up. Does she has she met her brother? Did he have face surgery?
I don't think she's seen him as an adult ever without a
No,
mask.
she saw him when she was 17, and he was old enough to murder his sister when her older sister was 17.
Right, it's her older brother, but when she saw him when she was 17, he was wearing the mask. You can write into whatever studio this is. Call up your boy Harvey Weinstein. Ask him what
Hey
the fuck's
Harvey,
going
I got a
on.
bone to pick with you.
Harv,
That Halloween
let's
movie is
talk.
not very rational.
Yeah. I think he's got bigger problems at this point.
Otherwise, no, I'm not telling the rest of that joke.
So, on IMDb, 65,503 reviews for a 5.8 out of 10. Seems a bit high.
I'm
There
giving that
were
thing a 4.
yeah, there were some good parts. Like you said earlier with the bathroom scene. A couple of the things were a bit freaky. Nothing was ever really scary, but the girl getting the leg off was gross enough to stick with me a little bit. But other than that, it's your standard run of the mill slasher movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, who has some star power at this point. But I don't know. It's it's not that good. Yeah, I'm probably a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst Halloween movie for sure, and it's definitely not the best. But That's not saying much. Okay, so why don't we move on from here? And man, that was a tough one. So I don't know if I mentioned, but that movie came out August 5th, 1998, which is ridiculous. How did I see that in the theaters? But I did. Bad parenting, I guess. All right, let's move on. We have 2 episodes of My Hero Academia, episode 12 and 13. We're wrapping up season 1 coming up shortly.
The season finale and what do you call the one before that? The penultimate?
Penultimate. Yeah. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MediaMenOnline, youtube.com/c/MediaMen, MediaMen.podbean.com for full episodes. And let us know what you think down in the comments. Thumbs up if you like us, thumbs down if you don't. And let us know what we can do differently. And do you have anything else?
No, come back and listen to us next time.